Right. Shotgun? Check. Smoke grenades? Check. Rabid My Little Pony repellent? Double check. It's the 5 games for Doomsday Expeditions.
Well, I'm taking the day off. I went up to Uli yesterday and I looked him right in the eye and I said, I've had enough.
Yeah, you
Tomorrow,
treat me terribly.
Yep. Tomorrow is my day. It's my personal day.
Exactly. You need a personal day.
Yeah, I mean, the shit I've been putting up with from him.
Right.
I'm taking one day. I'm going to be back on the booth tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'm going to be doing interviews, receiving pitches tomorrow.
Yesterday you worked really hard, right?
Yeah.
Like, how long were you at the booth yesterday?
I walked by it and thought about pausing.
Right, exactly.
I had to take my top off. I was sweating.
I mean, how many people... I mean, because your thought is of such quality.
Yeah.
I mean, like, a second of your thought is like 8-hour shift for most people.
Yeah, it's about the value of the contribution, not how many hours I put in.
Right, exactly. How much work.
Yeah, and I got to say, I really admire Uli Blenneman for what he's been able to achieve.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy's like, what, 78 years old?
I think,
and look at him, he's still at it.
I mean, he's still at it. He's what, like 82 years old at this point?
I mean,
he's still at it.
When I'm 88, I really hope I have that level of energy.
You know, when I'm 97, I hope that I'll be in the halls of Essen like Uli.
For a guy who's 115, you've never seen that amount of passion and enthusiasm and just like sheer force of will.
You know what I admire?
What's that?
You barely notice the incontinence. Barely notice it. I admire it.
You do notice it. But
oh no, there's definitely an aura, but you barely notice it.
Barely, not very
much.
Yeah.
Thing. So it's day 2, isn't it?
Yeah, and we're doing something that you tend not to do at Essen.
Play games. I decided, because I had a few beery wearies last night. I mean, listeners will be very surprised.
How many?
Oh, God.
But not the most of the evening.
Let's not. Oh no.
I don't even think you were in the top 3.
No, the grand dame of British gaming, Martin Wallace, was certainly doing his bit to keep his end up.
In his cups, I think, is the expression.
Is the term.
Yeah.
So yeah, this morning we're going to actually play a game, and we're going to demo a game from friend of the show, Asger Granerud and Daniel Skald Pedersen.
Are they here?
They'll be here at 1 o'clock, apparently.
Yeah, I've been wanting to play a proper racing game for some time.
Yeah.
I just haven't done it lately. And you recommended this game, Heat Pedal to the Metal.
Pedal to the Metal.
So what do you know about this game?
Well, I know that Asger's got some pedigree in racing games, being the designer of Flamme Rouge.
Yep. Very well-known game.
Yep, and here we are. And it's got cars and that, little cars. This is a good description, isn't it?
So this is the follow-up to Flamme Rouge.
I mean, that's what it looks like.
Yeah.
But it's USA, so it's pedal to the metal, dude.
This is new for this year?
Yeah, this is Days of Wonder's big release this year.
You want to read the flavor text?
I'll do the accent,
yeah.
All right? The countdown begins. 7 deep rowers cut through the air as all the cars leap away from their starting lines. I should have written this. This is very good. The Grand Prix is underway. Dust and wind rush past your helmet as you enter the first corner, pushing your engine to the limit. That's how they say it down there, isn't it? You almost spin out, but tightening your grip on the steering wheel, you slid through the corner, apex still in first. You got this.
I have no idea what you just said.
It's very good. That's very good accent, though.
Yeah.
Did you think like
I felt like I was back home in America.
A good old boy from Michigan had just walked in the room.
I closed my eyes and I was just ready to be served barbecue.
Exactly. Bottomless coffee.
I could go for a bottomless coffee right now.
Just as we sat down, I saw one of the Asmodee guys.
Yeah.
Sat at the Asmodee bar having a cup of coffee, right?
Right after we were told.
Yes, please join us.
Right after we were told.
Yes.
Yes. All right. Well, I think.
And so we're just about to start, but just tell this anecdote. And I said to the guy, "Hey, I don't want to be cheeky, but we're in early. We're fresh. You know, we're like colleagues and that. Yeah, I got a cheeky cup of coffee," and he just went, "No, Asmodee with all their money."
Well, why do you think they have all their money?
Because they ain't giving cups of coffee to numpties like me.
Yeah, well, what they don't know about you, Ben, is that you are the biggest Grand Prix of them all.
Indeed. It's Essen. It's day 2. And I'm absolutely exhausted. I shouldn't go out so much. I'm no longer a young man. But I'm here with Uda.
Hi.
Of Le Grandha fame. Thingies. God, I'm tired. I'm so sorry.
What do you want to know?
El Burro, the new La Granja game.
Yes.
So, first of all, how has Essen been thus far for you?
Well, I'm not only a designer any longer, so I'm a publisher myself.
Right,
now.
that's right.
Yes, I have my own company now. It's called The Game Builders. And it's really something else to be not only coming to a booth, which is already set up, so I can just waltz in, design a game, and talk to people. Now I'm in charge of my own booth. And that's really something else. It's exhausting and it's so much fun.
And so what are you doing? Are you taking pictures and all of that sort of stuff?
Right now I'm trying to find partners for localization of our first game. It's called Applejack. It's a tile game.
Ah, so that's you. Applejack is you. Okay.
Yes, by Uwe Rosenberg.
That's right.
And
that's a pretty good catch for a first game, no?
Yeah, but you know, Uwe is actually a friend for many years now. And when he heard about us trying to do something on our own, he was asking, okay, do you want a game? And I said, okay, do I want a game from Uwe Rosenberg? I wasn't sure. But in the end I said, oh yes, I take a game from you.
Why not?
Why not? Why not?
And so how's it doing?
We're actually doing quite well. So sales are okay, and I have no thing to compare this, you know. This is the first time being a publisher myself, and I'm quite satisfied with how it goes, and it's really overwhelming how possible partners are approaching us. So many people like Uwe Rosenberg games, and they want to localize it in their respective countries, so I have much to do. And right now I'm sitting here at Spielworks booth because of my job as a designer of El Burro.
So, we'll get to El Burro in a second.
Yeah, sure.
But how do you know how to do it? So you just started a new publishing house, and then you have people coming up wanting to do international versions of the game. Have you done research beforehand? Are you just flying by the seat of your pants? How do you know how to do it?
No, I'm just learning on the fly.
Right.
So we thought about publishing our own games for a couple of years now, and now we have the chance to do this because actually La Granja Deluxe was a huge success.
Right.
First time for me that it was a financial success in a way that I could say, okay, I might be able to cut down my hours from my day job.
Sure.
And put more hours into being a game designer, you know. So I took the chance, and with a friend of mine who's a journalist, who's also a freelance journalist, and he had the time as well. So we partnered up, and right now we're learning everything on the fly. So we just put out a Uwe Rosenberg game because we liked the game and we wanted to, and everything else we have to manage while doing it.
So tell us about El Burro then.
Well, El Burro is actually a standalone game in the La Granja universe.
Yeah.
So a couple of years ago I thought about expanding La Granja, and since I'm not being a huge fan of expansions myself, with a few exceptions of course, there are many great expansions. For instance, Underwater Cities has one of the best expansions, I think. But I'm not.
You did that, didn't you? Or contributed to it?
Yes, I was lucky enough to contribute two promo cards to the game because Vladimir is a nice guy.
Yeah.
And that was fun. And so I wanted to do not only an expansion but a whole new game.
Right.
And what I was trying to find out if I could find a game that is similar to La Granja, but also different enough to be able to say, oh, this is a good thing that it is a whole new game, not only an expansion. And the main thing in this actually is that you can not only deliver to your personal tasks. So what you do in La Granja is you have goods, you raise them on your farm, and then you deliver them to market carts or a market in the middle of the game. And this is basically what you do here as well, but in this game you can also deliver to other players' tasks. So I can deliver my wine to you, and there's something of you benefit from my delivery, and I benefit in a different way by going up a completely new gaming area on the tracks. I call them the reward tracks because it's my reward for helping you. So it's an interactive element in the game because I'm not only focused on my personal board, but I have to mix and mingle with the other players. And to find a good way to do this, especially in a two-player game, was very, very hard to find out. But this is the catch for the new game. So you're not only doing this on your own, you're dealing with other players. It has an interactive component to this, but it's not a very. So it's more like a friendly interaction.
Right.
So, I'm helping you, and I'm getting a reward for it, and you're happy that I'm helping you because you get more victory points because I helped you.
Sure.
And yes, it's been much fun. There are more different elements in the game. It's actually more complex than Lagrangia was.
Right.
It's about 2.5 hours, 3 hours playing time. It's quite a complex game, I have to say. But I'm very happy with it right now.
And so, why is Spielworks doing this and why not the game builders?
Well, actually, the idea for El Burro is older than the idea for the game builders, but you know my personal connection to Uli. He's a stellar guy, and
I mean, people call him, so many people say so many nice things about him.
Yeah.
I mean, I've never seen him be nice.
No, he gives me
Not once.
alcohol.
There you go.
Yes, there you go. Uli published Lagrangia. Uli was the personal behind No Siesta, which is a dice variant of Lagrangia. And I thought that making a couple of more Lagrangia games would be fun.
Yeah.
And I talked to Uli, and he said, okay, let's do a whole series.
Right.
And this is the first game in the new Lagrangia series that we are going to publish in the next couple of years. And this is actually something that I wanted to do with Spielworks, and also to be able to earn money with games, to be able to focus on my gamings, with being a designer for Lagrangia games and being a publisher with game builders.
Right.
So this is my plan to go full-time in gaming.
Brilliant. Well, Alder, thank you very much for your time, and I wish you all the success in the world.
Thank you very much, and lovely to meet you again.
Yeah, indeed. So it's Essen, it's day 2, and I'm here with the most important person in gaming in Billebeck, and that is Uli Blenneman. Uli, how you doing?
I'm doing fine, Ben, thank you. I think it's the most important person in Billabü, not Billebeck.
Oh, okay.
Because it's Swedish thing, so there is Svantje, and there is Pelle, and Messa Jocke, and Blut Sventje. They are my neighbors in Billabü.
Oh, very exciting. So, we're here, it's Essen, it's 2022. Does it feel like Essen before the pandemic?
Yes, very much. I was curious because of inflation, war, energy crisis here in Germany. Would there be as many people as before? I cannot really determine. But what I see here at my little place, I think so. And second thing is, of course, would these people be still interested in games and purchasing games?
Right.
Because money is tight, that's what it is. But here, I cannot really see that people are buying less.
Right.
This is not the most important thing in gaming, but it's for a publishing company.
For you, it's a consideration, right?
It is a really important consideration. So it may be because we are doing gamers games. So for the normal customer, gaming is very important. So they are still buying stuff. I'm not sure how it's in the family segment.
Right.
I cannot really determine. But from my point of view, there is not a real difference.
And London Acropolis Railway is gone, right?
It is gone.
How many copies did you have?
1,000 print runs, so it's a limited print run anyway. And we pre-sold most of them. So we didn't have a huge number of copies here. So that was easy. But you have to also consider the topic is pretty special and the price is not low. So we sold it here for 65 euros, which is a lot for that, for such a package.
Yeah.
And still, no questions asked.
And so, how is Spielworks doing? Because as you say, the world is a strange place and weird stuff is happening. But, you know, you had Oranienburger Canal this year, London Acropolis Railway, you've sold those. I mean, how are you doing?
In my opinion, I'm doing well. I'm really doing well. I'm happy. I can sleep, and this is the best indication. If I sleep well, it seems to be all right. But I do not have my. I cannot look into the far future, and far future for a small publishing company is 9 months. That's a far future because next Essen can be a totally different world. So, and as a born pessimist, hello Ignazi, by the way, and then the other pessimist in the gaming world, I think, wow, next Essen can be very different, and I take care that this is not happening to Spielworks. But what do I know? We'll see soon.
And you know, you often said you don't like Essen because it's work. I mean, how intense is the work here for you over these 4 days?
Yeah, it's strange. It's strange. Very good question, Ben. One thing is, my meetings are very important, yes, but it's not even necessary now that I'm here, because my team, all freelancers, it's brilliant. They do everything. In the morning when we start, I don't even have to tell something. They know what to do. It's wonderful. On the other hand, it's still very taxing because I have normally meetings every 30 minutes from morning till evening. Not all meetings are as intense as the other, but sometimes it's about licensing. We are talking of a quarter of a percent, and I have to do some math.
Right.
And I'm really happy if a 30 minutes meeting is just 15 minutes because we're finished, because the next 15 minutes is my break.
Right.
Or if somebody cannot make it, because then I have 30 minutes suddenly in my calendar free. But still, I'm not seeing anything here at Essen.
Right.
I'm moving around the booth, and that's it.
I mean, I do a podcast, but I'm essentially here as a punter, right? As a publisher, it's a very different proposition, right?
It is. It is. And in the end, you need some income because the costs of Essen are high.
Yeah.
But I learned a little bit. I try to not time anything just for Essen. So I go to Essen and know that I do not need to sell a single copy.
Right.
Because it won't make a huge difference. It's marketing anyway. So
then why come?
Yeah, because I'm meeting so many potential partners and some good friends also, and this is important, of course. But still, yeah. Do I need a larger booth? Could it be a tiny booth? Could it be that I visit just others? But that would be too much, because Essen, if you haven't ever been to the fairground, it's large. So if I have to move from hall 3 to 6, from 6 to 4, then back to 2, I'm done till at 2 in the afternoon. Yeah.
Brilliant. Well, Uli, I'm going to let you go off to your next meeting. Thank you very much for your time. And go Roosters.
Yeah, go Rooster. Thank you, Ben.
So it's Essen, it's day 2, I believe?
Yeah, Friday.
Yeah, and I'm here with Bavaria's top game designer, Rita Model. Rita, how are you?
Hi, fine, thank you. Nice to meet you. Again.
Too much. So, how has Essen been for you? So firstly, I'm disappointed you're not in your gnome hat.
Yes, because they were very hot and I'm sweaty all the time.
You've got to suffer for your art, Rita.
Yes.
So how are you, and how has Essen been for you so far?
It's great to be here. It's maybe more stressful than last year, but maybe I'm also getting older, I don't know.
Right.
But it's a wonderful atmosphere, everybody's happy, so great.
And what are you here for? What games do you have?
My two new games are Zwergendorf. It's only in German yet.
Yeah.
From Skellig Games. And Crazy Donut Party. It's a game for children and families.
Yeah.
And it's from the publisher Frech Verlag.
Yeah.
Normally it's a book publisher, but now they were making more games. Yes.
And so how is it, like, being on the booth demoing your game?
I was very nervous.
Yeah.
Because I worked so long on this game. I worked 3 years on
Right.
this game, and normally I'm not that. I'm not that because I'm working on a game and then there comes the next game. Okay, but this year is special.
Right.
Because it's a Kennerspiel. It's my first Kennerspiel.
Right.
And and I'm seeing people playing it and getting reviews and so on. So
And
very nervous.
what are people saying? Are people happy with it, do you think?
Yeah, all the people I asked, they were very happy about it. So yeah, good for me. And yesterday we were sold out.
Oh, very nice.
Today we have new games.
And so why is Essen special for you?
Because it's so big, it's so international, and everybody who is in the board game business is there. So if you're not in Essen, I think you're not in the board game business.
Right. And so when you go home and you're recovering on the
Yes.
sofa, I'm sure you'll still post 20 times a day on Instagram, even though you're recovering. But what will you think is the most special thing you've experienced this weekend?
This year it's very special because I'm promoting my new game, and I'm also having appointments for the new prototypes.
Yeah.
So it's very special, it's very stressful because I always have to change my mind. So now I'm doing this, now I'm doing this, now I'm doing this. And it's very special, but the most thing which is great is that I see all the people. So normally I see people here, I see only 1 year,
Right.
one time a year. So this is great.
Brilliant. Well, Rita Modal, thank you very much for your time.
Yeah, thank you too.
It's Essen, it's day 2. And I'm here with the most famous Yorkshireman in gaming.
It's true. Although Compo once released a 4X game, I don't know.
Right,
Yeah,
that's very true.
Yeah,
That's very true. And Alan Bennett is doing a deck builder, I hear.
that's right. Yeah.
So, first of all, because, one thing gamers love
Yes.
is logistics.
Yes.
Tell us about your clusterfuck of a trip over here.
Well, I had a lovely time getting my plane cancelled twice. Plane cancelled twice.
Plays cancelled twice.
Yeah. First time they gave us a bit of notice. The second time was just the day before. So then we had to decide whether we were coming or not. So we decided we were coming, and then arrived at the airport, and a 2-hour delay due to passenger distress on the plane. Now, what was that?
Crikey, that sounds exciting.
I think they were distressed all over the seat. Is what I thought they were.
Yeah, indeed. they just read Kwasi Kwarteng's new finance. I was trying to do satire. I'm tired. It's day 2. I can't do it.
It's fine. I can't even say his name, to be honest.
It's beyond satire.
It's beyond satire. This is.
Anyway, so you're not a person who adores lots of people and that.
That's true.
How you've been here now for about an hour? How are you finding it?
It feels quieter than previously to me.
Right.
But saying that, I walked through the door at 3 p.m., which is when other people are walking out with laden
exactly.
with. So I think if you're going to come to Essen, then come in the last hour. That's my tip for all the Essen goers. Come in the last hour, just buy 2 games, and then declare it all over.
Don't do any of the socialising.
No, that's anathema to me.
Go back to the hotel,
Exactly.
watch YouTube videos.
Yeah.
And so, not only, so you're a man of definitive statements. And you were the person who said, I'm never designing a bloody game, not a bloody chance. That was a good accent, wasn't
It was fantastic. Yeah, the Welsh accent is amazing. It's a beautiful accent.
And so, not only are you here as a punter, but you're here as one of the most respected children's game designers in the world of board games.
In the world of everything,
Well,
yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah, no, it's amazing. I'm here as a media person as well. I'm here under all three gamuts.
I love the way that you call sporadically board media.
I do board game reviews for the Dice Tower as
That's
well.
true, that's true.
They count. They count. No, it's walking up to the booth, because I went to see them first, obviously, and seeing people playing it, and I saw someone buy it.
Wow,
and
exciting.
I got my calculator out and found out how much that would be on
Yeah.
my percentages for royalties. So I can buy half a croissant. So
That's not bad, half a croissant, especially the prices in this bloody place.
That's true.
I bought a pretzel for £4 earlier.
That's distressing.
Scandalous, no?
that would make you turn around and go home, to be honest, Ben. Was it a big pretzel or just one of those ones in the little packets?
No, like a big bread one. But still, £4, it's outrageous.
No, it was very exciting. It was very. I got a bit of a lump in my throat, to be honest. It's lovely.
Really?
Yeah. Once I've ditched my companion, I'm going to go and hang around there and stalk people as they play the game and stuff.
And so you've sort of, you make a statement about not buying games and all that sort of having games. Is there anything here you're interested in getting?
I bought one thing.
Okay.
And I'm interested in another one. I bought Resist.
Okay, yeah.
Because that looks really good, and I'm into my solo gaming at the moment. And then there's a one by Yellow, which is a Pets at Baker Street,
Okay.
which I think looks interesting, and I think Cora, my daughter, would like. So that's why I'm buying that. But other than that, I'm not buying anything.
And so you're coming out with an expansion for Core Quest,
I am.
right?
Thank you. That's very good. Thank you.
I'm doing your job for
Yeah,
you.
no, you're marvelous.
I mean, so for someone who was, definitely not going to design a game ever, and now you're doing an expansion, and you said to me, "Oh no, once Core Quest is done, I'm not doing anything more. There's going to be no expansions."
Well, once this expansion's done, Ben, I'm not doing anything more. That is it. It feels like it may be a full stop. I don't know. Depends how well it could.
But what happens, right, if the Kickstarter goes gangbusters?
Yeah.
Which is distinctly possible.
Well, yeah.
And what happens if, something happens and Core Quest gets a German translation, it wins the Spiel des Jahres? I mean, could you ever see yourself as a professional game designer?
I know. But
would you want it?
I thoroughly enjoyed the process of designing the game. Whether that was because it was a novel process,
Right.
I don't know. I love being creative, but I'm not very good at sustaining that creative effort through the drudge.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed all aspects of Core Quest. I even enjoyed the marketing. I enjoyed everything about it. So I don't know. I'll never say never, but I think everyone's got a book in them. I think everyone's got a game in them, and I'm just thinking that might be mine and Cora's game. But who knows? Who knows?
I need tips. I think part of the reason Core Quest was so successful is your unfailing ability to suborn people into, forming
Doing work
a
for me
community.
for free.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I mean, how do you form a community? You're very good at this. What is it?
Well, first of all, you've got to be a pleasant individual, which is, I think,
hard work for
your
me.
first stumbling block.
First thing.
Secondly, I don't know, just be genuine, just be yourself. I think not yourself, obviously.
No, I don't want to be myself.
If you could try and be myself.
All right. Hello, I'm Dan Hughes. How's it going? No one.
I was gonna say,
Oh no!
No, I reject that.
I mean, it's Yorkshire though.
He is Yorkshire, but nevertheless.
Oh God, I can't believe I just did that. I work for the Dice Tower.
Yeah, I'm aware of it. So do I. Yeah. No, don't compare me to that individual, please. If that's all right. What was the question?
I can't remember. I've just let's finish this here.
Okay.
End it on the Jimmy Savile impression. So it's Essen. It's day 2.
Day 2, yes.
I start getting it wrong by this point.
So counting is hard.
I mean, it really is,
It
especially
is.
especially like ordinal numbers. Is that what they're called?
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm
not British. I don't know numbers. Fancy words for numbers.
Well, exactly. So I'm here with Peter. I'm going to pronounce correctly, but your surname is Hofgaard.
Hofgaard, yeah.
Was that correct?
Yeah, that's actually very correct.
There's no umlauts or anything.
No, Hofgaard.
It's a Peter Hofgaard. So most people up until this year will have known Peter as the Tabletop Together tool man who made that wonderful tool that we all use for Essen. But
this year,
you sent me a message a few months ago saying
By the way,
Yeah, I got a game publisher, not just by any old publishing company, but by CGE, which is a big thing, right?
it's a little crazy.
So, what was the process of getting your game published by CGE?
Well, it started by me just sending them a pitch. I had an idea for a game and I developed it a bit and tried it out. And I knew I wanted a fun-filled or a silly space game with a fun theme in it.
Yeah,
and it's
yeah.
like, since I know what publishers kind of games they do, like this would be a perfect game for CD. They'll never
Right.
they'll never do it, but it
Sure.
would be perfect for them. So I sent them the pitch and they said, hey, sure, let's play it. And it was during the whole Corona thing, so I had to make the digital implementation of it. And they tried it. Then they got back to me and said, we love it. It's the best prototype we've tried in years. Let's go. Let's do it.
Amazing. So
So-
how long had you been designing the game then?
Well, now it's like been 2.5 years, so I guess it's pretty standard amount of time
Yeah, yeah.
for a game.
And so, how did it feel when you first saw the real game? Because you got a prototype or a digital implementation. When you first saw the real thing, I mean, how was that?
That was crazy. It was yesterday I saw the
Right.
game for the first time. So yeah, it was wild to just have that box. But I wanted to rip the string off, of course, but there was an unboxing later that they wanted to
Okay.
do live. So okay, I'm gonna savor it. That was like the hardest 6 hours.
Yeah,
I was like,
yeah,
I
right.
want to open it, but I waited. But it feels so crazy to have the final product.
So tell us about the game then.
So the game it's a cleverly disguised Euro game. It
Right.
looks like a very friendly, silly game, but it's really to trick people into playing Euro games. We want more people to play Euro
Right,
games.
of course.
But it's a light to medium, very thematic Euro game. So everything is I wanted everything to make thematic sense, as much thematic sense they can in a game, of course. So, but it's actually inspired by pool and back building, but it
Right.
doesn't look like it. But it is. It's I call it crew building.
Okay.
Because you have your crew that can take different actions. You have red crew that can move your starship, and the yellow crew that can pew down shoot pirate ships, and the blue crew, scientists, the awesome guys, that can get you technology cards and endgame scoring and all this stuff we love in Euro games, right? So then you fly around on a map. You've got to move your ship into positions where you can complete missions. That's how you score points. All kinds of crazy stuff. You can get artifacts that you can get extra actions out of. You can save androids that can help you on missions, and all kinds of things that feel good in a Euro sense, but also make sense in the theme and the
Right.
world. Sort of. I did a bit of time world building as well to make it feel like a cohesive things, naming things, and there's 3 different factions, and it's a lot of fun. And then I hit so many Easter eggs on the cards. I got to talk to the illustrators, so there's like a lot of 90s sci-fi things hidden in cards and titles, and yeah.
And so, this is your first Essen as a designer. How has it been?
It's weird. It's being other side of the table. It's completely, it feels surreal. It's like, it's hard to describe. I feel sort of like, when you wake up from a dream and think back on the dream. I feel like I'm in the dream and I'm going to wake up in a few seconds.
Right, we're going to have a live interaction.
Live interaction. Thank you. Thank you very much. It's more Danish, no one understands.
All right, so a Danish man just congratulated Peter on his game.
Yes, you understand Danish?
Absolutely not a
Or you
word.
can read body language. One of the two.
I assume he didn't say, "Oh, Peter, your game's shit, mate." I assume that was not the interaction. And so, your first published game is with CGE, which is a big thing.
Bit crazy, yeah.
Which is not just cool because it's a big publisher, but it must be an endorsement of the quality of the game because CGE don't publish shit, right?
They don't. So yeah, it feels it was an honor that they actually felt that the game was good enough. Of course, it's not like they just got the game and printed it. There's been a long development process they do. That's been very interesting, sort of exploring parts of the game, figuring out how to make this part of the game the best we can. So that was very interesting. It's very different from like coming up with ideas and designing. The whole development process is completely different. It's very nice to get insight into how that process worked and how you make an idea better or figure out is it the best it can be.
And so what now for Peter Hofgaard as the designer?
What, sorry?
What now for Peter Hofgaard as a
It's a
designer?
good question. I do have ideas for other games, so I will probably try to make them into something that's fun and playable as well. I didn't want to focus on that for Essen now. I just wanted to enjoy and be in this moment that will only happen once. So yeah, but hopefully in the future more games.
Brilliant. Well, Peter Hofgaard, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
So it's Essen, it's day 2.
Yay!
I'm here with world traveller, news anchor.
He's already running low on things to say.
And I'm absolutely fucking exhausted.
Hello.
Matthew Jude. Matthew,
Nice to
how
see
are you?
I'm fine, thank you. And you lured me in with a beer.
Yeah. It's nice to have a Brummie accent on the show.
And when you get one, let me know. Live on the Black Country, you bastard. It's close.
It's literally the same
It's
thing.
the same thing. If you're not from there, it's the same thing. But if you're from there, ooh.
I mean, I'm from Worcestershire. I think I was born where you're from, right? Are you from Stourport or Stourbridge?
Stourbridge.
Oh, I was born in Stourport.
Gotcha. Well, my brother lives in Worcester.
What does he?
Yeah.
Hey, stop yawning. We're talking about England here. We're talking about the West Midlands.
Best part of the.
No, it ain't.
It's awful.
It's not the best part of anything.
Damn awful.
Anyway, so you're here in Essen. Are
Yes.
you here in a professional capacity?
I got a press ticket.
No, me too.
No, not really. I'm kind of milling about, having a fun time, if I'm honest.
Is
Just
this your first?
second.
Second.
I did the 2019 one, then thought against doing the 2021 one.
Yeah, 2020 didn't happen.
The year that time forgot.
Exactly. I had a lovely time, actually, to be honest.
Did you really?
Yeah.
I went to the UK Games Expo and it was depressing.
I mean, I had a lovely time in 2020. I was teaching online, sitting on my balcony.
Having a great time.
No fucking people. It's not great. So what do you think, then?
I think I actually have been playing games this year, like demoing and playing games, which I normally don't do.
Yeah, I never do.
Because I look at the game and walk off because I think, oh, I don't want to talk and it's a whole thing. It's actually been fun. I've enjoyed playing
What
some
have you
games.
played? Anything good?
I played the new Splendid Duel.
Oh, and?
Yeah. It's
Nice.
fine. It's
fine.
good. It's good. I played a bunch of weird abstract games.
Nice.
I've enjoyed those a lot. And tomorrow I want to do some more demo. It's fun.
I did one demo this morning,
What was that?
and this is Heat. And this is why I don't do demos at big
I
conventions
wanted
like
to
this.
try Heat.
I think it's good, but the problem is the girl didn't really know the rules.
Okay.
And she's this tiny little girl, really loud hall. She's doing this, okay, what you do? Did you do this? And we're like, excuse me? Yeah, and so you move the cards here. Speaker!
Yeah. That's a difficulty. Well, maybe they were nervous, but also
I'm sure they were nervous. I mean, they were sitting at a table with me.
True, and they've been told who you were. They couldn't remember, but they had been told.
Well, exactly. So you know, how long have you been with Watch It Played now?
I have been 2 years.
So how is it?
It's honestly, Paula, how is it?
So good.
Thanks.
What's Rodney like as a boss?
He's a monster.
Yeah.
No, Chaz is a monster. It's nice. It's fine. It's been good. It's nice. It's good. It's remote. I do my bits and pieces I need to do. Rodney's lovely and it's kind and supportive. And
he keeps saying to me, Ben, I really want to go on your podcast. And then I send him an email and he says, I'm really busy at the moment, Ben.
He is often busy, but do you
think I intimidate him? Is that what it is?
Yeah, I think he's just your command of the English language.
It's my virility, Matthew, is
I
what
heard
it is.
that it was both of those things at the same time.
Exactly.
That was the hardest part to deal with.
Exactly. I mean, what is he, like 6'2" or something?
He's 6'1".
I mean, I'm 5'10", but I exude,
You exude
the virility of a
virility
6'3" man.
6'3", at least.
At
I was
least.
thinking that.
Yeah.
It's fine. No, Watch It Played is good, and it's good fun working for them. I went behind the Dice Tower booth, and Tom told me off. He said, no, and I went, good joke, and I...
Yeah, I mean, I was just working there. It was quite the most humiliating 2 hours of my life.
I'm no Mike Delisio, I tell you that much.
And I can't even, the problem is I can't even fucking swear either.
No.
So I'm stood there for 2 hours, holding it in.
Well, Watch It Played's family friendly.
Exactly. I mean, I don't know how you get away with it.
Rodney's the one that says the F word more than anyone else.
Right.
When in a live stream, he's the most likely to drop the bomb. But also, he won't get in trouble for it. It's not quite the same.
Because he's the boss, isn't he?
He's the boss.
So, I mean,
worst bosses.
Is it your full-time gig now or what?
Watching plays is my full-time, part-time thing that I do.
Right.
My full part-time job.
So, and the listeners might not be, they'll be definitely familiar with your work, but they won't be familiar with your travel blogging.
No, they won't be.
So
not many people.
Tell us about the travel blogging.
Seldom people are familiar with the travel blog, but I've been doing some travel bits and pieces.
Well, you've been going to interesting places though, right?
Went to Kosovo.
Yeah, fascinating.
Which is great.
Did you go to Pristina?
Pristina, capital.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all. That's it.
I only asked you if you went to Pristina because I wanted to demonstrate that I knew what the capital of Kosovo
your
was.
Command of geography. I've been to Turkey. I've been to Bulgaria, which I love going to Bulgaria. Bulgaria was great.
Interesting fact.
Please do.
Turkey in Turkey is called Hindi.
Is it?
Yeah.
Well, that is actually.
I lived with a Turkish guy at university, and I asked him. That was my first question to him. What do you call Turkey in Turkey? And he said Hindi.
That is an interesting fact. I'm going to give you that. That's fine.
Another interesting fact.
Please do.
You know what the word for fish in Turkish is?
Is it chicken?
Bollock.
Is it?
Yes, it is.
That's better. I like that. But yeah, and I'm going to Hungary in a few days.
Oh, cool.
With Paula. On time?
Yes.
See, I went to Hungary. I went to Hungary 20 years ago on a theatre tour. Hungary is wonderful, and now it's a right-wing fascist state, which is nice.
That's what first lured me to Hungary. No, I'm joking. I was like,
I thought Viktor Orban aligns with me.
They know. That's what I was saying. Isn't that what I was saying? But yeah, I'm going to. Yeah.
Where are you going in Hungary?
We're starting in Budapest, and then we're going to just see what happens from there. Really, kind of have a wander around. We're there for a few days.
I went to Budapest, and I went to Miskolc, which is their Brum, basically, which is their Birmingham, basically, big industrial place.
Yeah, sounds awful.
Rough. And then I went to Nyíregyháza.
Yeah.
It's just doing a play, and that's right on the Ukraine border.
Yeah.
I assume you don't want to go there at the moment for fear of...
I have to assume so.
Yeah.
I've been to Transylvania and Brasov, which are in Romania, but used to be part of Hungary.
Right.
It's good. Dracula stuff, Dracula shit everywhere.
Did you get attacked by vampires?
Not. As much as I tried, no.
Right.
I was like, this could be an erotic weekend.
Just walking around with your neck out.
I was like, oh no, don't, oh no.
Oh, I've forgotten my scarf.
I don't want to live forever. It has been a sexy vampire.
I never fucking understand that, right? You watch all the vampire films, and like everyone's like, oh, being a vampire is a nightmare. What? You get to be sexy and eat people?
Sexy, eat people and live forever.
I mean, I don't aspire to eat people.
No, I don't. No one's ever. But if that was part of the deal, then I would be.
If I could live forever,
and I had to do that,
I'd give it a go.
You're not going to eat people, are you?
I mean, I like black pudding.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
It's close enough.
Exactly.
So yeah, Essen's been fun. Essen's been great.
And so, pass the mic to Paula.
I was thinking about doing that. Passing.
I'm trying so hard to be quiet this whole time.
I won't be doing the same. I want
How's
poor
that?
audio of me in the background.
I was like, I can't talk. It's not my thing. I'm not going to be that person who talks off mic.
So, Paula, tell us about your first Essen experience. This is your first Essen experience.
This is my first Essen.
Yeah, tell us about it.
First Germany. Well, it took me about 26 hours to get here because of flights and layovers.
Bloody hell.
It was awful.
Where you fly from?
Where
you fly from is what I just said then. It's good English, isn't it?
I knew what you meant. LA. I came in from LA, yeah.
So, everyone tells me LA is a soulless hellscape. Is that true?
Depends on what part of town you're in.
Okay.
And I really think, here's the thing, look, I'm not here to tell everyone to move to LA because honestly more people should move out.
I've no desire to move to LA.
We won't be doing it.
The thing I think is really special about LA that people don't see in like TV or movies is that there's a lot of different neighborhoods with a lot of different vibes. So I really believe that anyone can find like their spot in LA.
Are you an LA native?
No.
Where are you
I
from?
moved there from North Carolina.
Everyone comes from North Carolina, right?
Well, you know, it's a pretty good state.
No, it can't be that good because everyone moves out.
We move out.
Exactly. So yeah, back to the subject. How's it been then?
It's been good. I've been eating a lot of pretzels.
Yeah.
Which I'm loving. Having a lot of sausages, which I'm also loving. And
I mean, I could have made a crude innuendo then. And did you notice I didn't?
I thought it.
As it was coming out of my mouth, I had slight regrets, and I still have them, if I'm honest.
Often when it comes out of my mouth, I have slight regrets.
I thought I'd enjoy this more than I did. Oh.
It's good though. It's interesting. I think this is the largest convention I've ever been to.
So it's bigger than Gen Con?
Yes. Well, I have to say I've only been to Gen Con in last year and this year.
Okay.
So 2021 was like half the size of normal Gen Con. It was like 30,000 people. So like the size of a PAX Unplugged. And that was big for me. And everyone kept being like, this is so small. It's not even the same. I'm like, oh, I think it's pretty cool. And then this year was like 60,000 people, but even that apparently is less than it normally is. And this field, yesterday on day one, we were walking around. And Matthew was like, oh yeah, there's not very many people here. And I was like squeezing through crowds. I was like, this isn't that many people.
2019 was nuts though. It was absolutely insane. Thankfully, COVID killed off half the gaming population, so there's fewer people here this year.
I mean, you have to get together to play, Pandemic Legacy, so forget COVID.
So what do you do outside of the board game media sphere? Because you're like an actress, right?
I am an actress, yeah. So I tape a lot of auditions and send them off.
Yeah. It's great, isn't it?
Yeah, super great. And then I hear nothing back from them.
I signed an NDA for the second Captain America film. I auditioned as one of the newsreaders, and I uploaded the video to their server, and they didn't even download the video I sent them.
Maybe they watched it without downloading.
But I did sign the NDA, which made me feel like a Hollywood star for 5 minutes.
I heard the producer's son.
Well, I think the film's already been made. This was like 5 years ago.
Then done. So I act, I do too many things. I podcast. This one mostly.
Audio.
Oh yeah, this is with
when he said he was starting this cryptozoology podcast, I said you've got to get me on because I know all about that shit. And he's yet to invite me. He's never invited me on This Game Is Broken. Never invited me on Death by Monsters.
I've been invited to both of them.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
I know.
I feel as though I have.
No, never. I think he's intimidated by me.
It might be. Yeah.
It's the sex appeal.
Yeah. So I do a lot of random things where I'm just like, someone watched my content on the internet, so I feel validated. It's mostly what I do.
Nice.
Outside of board games.
And so, what kind of gamer are you then?
Hey, I like thematic games very much. So I definitely came into the hobby focusing on what I would affectionately call Ameritrash games.
Right.
So I have bad dice luck, but I like to roll dice and do combat and move minis around a map and read story. If the game comes with like a narrative passage, choose your own adventure, I'm into it.
Yeah.
But
you should play My Father's Work.
Ooh, you were saying
actually
that I might like.
I think the game's great, but you should actually just listen to the app more. Because I did the voices for the app.
Okay, all right. Now I understand why. But more and more, I will play Euros, and I like more like puzzle games. I'm really into like tile laying, and if it's got polyomino tiles in them, I'm sold.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So, well, I guess what's that? 12 minutes we're at now.
Probably. Yeah.
Quite impressive, isn't it?
You paid me for 10 minutes.
I did.
That's it.
So I'm gonna have to. For every second over, I'm gonna have to give you a snog.
Thank you.
So, Matthew, Jude, Paula Demick, thank you very much for giving over your time. And this will be out in the morning, so you can listen to it. Bye. So it's Essen. It's day 2, and we're here at the Devere party that hasn't started yet. And I'm here with El Presidente.
Hello.
Frank West. How's things?
Yeah, really good. How are you getting on?
I'm exhausted, Frank, to be honest.
It's quite warm in here today.
And I don't look after myself when I'm at these events, and I stay up late and I imbibe booze.
There is a good amount of drinking possible.
Yeah.
And it's also when I record my daily average highest steps of like any time of the year.
Absolutely, it's nuts. I did like 25,000 yesterday.
It's craziness, which is a long distance. So
you don't have a booth here this year?
I don't, no.
Why?
So for me, I exhibit at some conventions like Gen Con, UK Games Expo, but I like to have a show where I can see what's going on and just experience it. I feel like it's really important as a game designer and a publisher to be aware of what other people are doing. Maybe the world's changed. If I'm just on my booth, I'm not going to get to see that. So I come here, have meetings, meet people, arrange meetups and stuff, but enjoy the show and just kind of have some fun. I'm a gamer at heart, right? I'm not just the publisher. I love Essen, and I'd be coming here even if I didn't have a company.
Sure, and you bring in with you your new game,
yes,
Race to the Raft, which is in the Isle of Cats universe.
Absolutely.
Let us know about Race to the Raft a bit.
So, are you waiting for Corey as well, or no?
Yes, we are.
He invited me for some playtesting.
Yeah, we're just in the middle of a recording, but we'll be free in like a couple of minutes. So no, it's
worries,
absolutely fine,
no worries.
not a problem. But yes, we are waiting for Corey, so he'll be here soon.
That was Branislav Berec of Nisrania there who interrupted us. Best tutorial videos on the internet.
I've heard the same. They're all good. So.
They're all good. So Race to the Raft.
Yeah, so Race to the Raft is my brand new game. It is the thematic sequel to the Isle of Cats.
Right.
So if you enjoyed the Isle of Cats, you're probably going to like Race to the Raft. If you didn't enjoy the Isle of Cats, you're hopefully going to enjoy Race to the Raft. You don't need to have played it. You don't need to have known about it. It's a completely self-standing game.
And is it same weight?
Yes, so the only differences in this game for complexity is in the Isle of Cats there is the standard game and a family mode. In this game I've kind of flipped it, so the standard game is more of a family game, and then there's the advanced mode. But the key difference is this is a fully cooperative game, whilst the Isle of Cats is a fully competitive game.
Sure.
So on this game, you are playing the role of the cats that were left behind, and you are trying to find your own way to safety, because those guys that turned up with the boats left you behind, and you're having a bad time.
And so, I remember you showing me Isle of Cats and being very kind of positive about it and very excited. Not just about the design, but the fact that it might be some sort of breakthrough for you as a company. Has that borne out with Isle of Cats, do you think?
No, I mean, Isle of Cats has been incredibly successful.
Yeah.
There are very few games in a year that come out of that size that are as successful as the Isle of Cats.
Right.
So I couldn't be happier. Like, it's hit every goal and exceeded them beyond all belief.
And so, I'm trying to think of the word, how kind of satisfied are you with where you stand with the City of Games at the moment, and how excited are you about the future?
Yeah, it's a funny thing, because if you said to me, a year ago with where the Isle of Cats was, like, do you want to get bigger? Do you want to do any more? I'd be like, I'm so happy with where it's got, and I don't think I could, because the Isle of Cats achieved so much that future games will be good, but maybe they won't get to that level.
Right.
But with Race to the Raft, this is probably a weird thing for me to say, but if I could go back in time and take Race to the Raft with me, knowing how successful the Isle of Cats has been, and choose to release Race to the Raft instead of the Isle of Cats, I would.
Right.
Because I feel like this game is by far the best game I've ever designed.
Okay.
I am so excited by it that I would love for it to just get out there. If people see it and they play it, it's new. There's nothing like it out there. It's such a different experience, and it's so well refined. Like, it's not a big complex game. I could teach you the game in just 3 minutes.
So do you feel like you've matured as a designer?
I think that, I'm still maturing. I think everyone is always still maturing, but I have learned so much. This is my first game where I've taken subsets of all of my previous games and brought them together.
Right.
So this is a game that is based on my learnings of 3 different games. All my games till now have been just completely new things. This is the one where I've gone, what would I do with that game if I started again? And let's chuck all 3 of them into one box.
Yeah.
And I'm so happy with how it's turned out. It's unbelievable.
What's the vital statistics then? When's it going up for crowdfunding, and when can we get it? And all that
it's going to be on Kickstarter on the 18th of October.
Yep.
So just a couple of weeks after Essen.
Really soon,
And it'll be on Kickstarter for just over 3 weeks, so until mid-November.
Yeah.
And then hopefully middle of next year it will be for fitting. I expect it will probably be early Q3.
Yeah.
But that's kind of the goal for it.
Fabulous. Well, Frank West, El Presidente of Gamma. Thank you very much for your time.
It's my pleasure. It's been great. Thank you.
So it's Essen. It's day 2. Am I right in saying it's day 2?
It is indeed.
I'm
it feels
here.
like day 5 to me, but
I'm absolutely knackered, Alessandro.
Yeah.
So I have Alessandro from Horrible Guild. We're here drinking a lovely glass of Italian red wine.
Yeah. Cheers.
What do you say? Prego? That's Spanish, isn't it?
Sprego, it's like when you say thank you.
Yeah. How do you say cheers?
Cheers, it's salute.
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 Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know how many years I've been interviewing now, but Essen wouldn't. My Essen podcast wouldn't be the same if I didn't come to Horrible.
Yeah, it's a tradition at this point.
So, how's the last year been for Horrible Games?
It was a pretty full year of things, because we delivered 3 Kickstarters that we did in previous years. We made a new one more quest back in January. Our first role-playing games, tabletop role-playing games. Yes, it's based on the same universe and core mechanism of Dungeon Fighter, but it's a role-playing game.
And the new version of Dungeon Fighter came out this year, right?
That's one of the 3 Kickstarters that we fulfilled. Then we are soon going to have another Kickstarter for the sequel to the King's Dilemma, which is called the Queen's Dilemma. And then we made somehow 2 new games in addition to those. So we made Evergreen and The Great Split. We made 2 new versions of Similo with Harry Potter and Fantastic Beasts license.
That's right.
We made a Similo board game, special version of Similo, where we put together most of the most important publishers in the world of board gaming, and they allowed us to put a card with their new game for Essen in the deck. So there's this deck which has at least all the games inside are new games for the show. And we made this. They were super nice in letting us do this, and also we made it so that if you buy any of the games in the deck at any of the booth of any of the publishers, you get the deck for free.
That's why I got a Similo deck when I bought War of the Ring.
Exactly, because that game is in our
very
deck.
Cool.
And every publisher with a game inside had the chance to distribute the deck for free together with the game.
Oh, fabulous.
So yes, there's a lot of things I cannot talk about yet because we're working on more stuff. We launched an e-commerce. We branched out, and Lorenzo Silva, our CEO, founded a video game developer studio which is called Big Trouble. And we are doing with that label, we are doing a video game based on the King's Dilemma.
Right.
Yes. So, as I was saying, a lot of stuff.
And so, I've noticed that the game that's really causing a lot of buzz is Evergreen.
Yes.
Tell us about Evergreen, and why do you think it's Evergreen that's causing the buzz?
I think one part is that because we already had a sort of preview launch at Gen Con earlier this year, so people already know about the game. Then there is the fact that it's by Hjalmar Hach, the same designer of Photosynthesis, and the 2 games share quite a few similarities, but they also are very different from each other because, like in Photosynthesis, in Evergreen, you are planting trees and making them grow so that they can collect light so that you get the points. But trees cast a shadow, so you have to be careful to not let your trees overshadow each other because you're losing points. And there's the sun moving around the board, so the direction of the shadows changes, so you have to keep that into account. But then, on top of these similarities, the games are completely different because, for starters, in Evergreen, each player has his own board, their own board. So you're not competing, there's not this fierce competition for space.
I saw a review where they say it's much less harsh than Photosynthesis.
A lot of people have been saying that, but it's true. Because since you're building your own thing in your own planet, nobody's going to bother you.
Sure.
You can focus on doing the best you can with the options you're given, and it's much more relaxing. Still, you get a similar experience with the planting trees, growing them, collecting light. There are more ways in which you get the points because at the end of the game is divided into 4 seasons, each split into several rounds, decreasing amounts of rounds. So you feel this kind of rush towards the end. At the end of each season, you make points for the light. But also for your biggest group of trees all connected together, that we call that a forest. So you keep to try your trees together to score big on that, but if you keep them too close, they start to overshadowing each other, so you have to strike a balance with that. Then at the end of the game, you make points with the fertility of the biomes. There is the way you choose the actions. There is a draft at the beginning of each round where you lay out some cards on the board. Each player picks one. The color of that card determines which biome you are going to develop that round. So you can only spend your action in that color because each biome has a color which matches the cards. Each card also has a special power. So when you choose the card, you choose two things: where you are going to do your action, and which power you are going to obtain bonus effects from. And these powers can be simple things like planting more sprouts, growing more sprouts into small trees, or small trees into big trees. You gain points straight up. You can plant bushes to connect forests together to make a bigger one. You can place lakes that help you speed up the growth of the adjacent trees. So there's a lot of stuff that you can do. At the end of the game, when you do these drafts, there is always one card that is left, and it goes into the fertility zone, we call it. And each card, in addition to the color and the icon of the power, it also has some icons that only come into effect if that card is discarded into the fertility zone.
Yeah.
And the total amount of those icons in that color determines the value of each big tree that is in that color at the end of the game. So the less a certain color is chosen, the more valuable that color will become at the end of the game. So at one point, people will start to choose that color because planting big trees there will be more valuable. And then there is another kind of cards, another kind of icon with a small skull that is aridity, and if you let that go into the fertility zone, it will basically flip the latest card of that color, so it removes points. So if you have a lot of big trees in that color, maybe you take that card with the skull, even if it's not the best for you now, but it protects your score later. Or maybe you don't have trees in that color, so you let that card go through
because you know it's going to
so that it's going to hurt the score of another player. So a lot of things going on with pretty simple rules, though. So the game is not many rules and they're not hard. And also it's pretty quickly moving because most of the time, apart from when you are choosing cards, you play simultaneously. So it lasts 45 minutes more or less, even with the full player count. So it's not a long game.
And so, I mean, you can never plan for these things, but if you're thinking about Spiel des Jahres, because Horrible was nominated for King's Dilemma, I mean, I must confess I was surprised by that. I mean, I think King's Dilemma is a great game, but I thought being nominated for the Spiel des Jahres was surprising. I mean, where does Evergreen sit in Spiel des Jahres? Would it be a Kennerspiel? Would it be a Spiel des Jahres?
It's difficult to predict those kind of things because the jury sometimes has taken some surprising decision. For example, you mentioned the King's Dilemma. We were obviously happy, but also a bit surprised by the nomination because I mean, we feel it deserved it because we put a lot of effort, and we think it's a game that explored new territories. No one did anything like that.
But it didn't feel. So when I saw it, I thought, oh, this is. The reason I thought it was great is because I think the game is great, but it felt like Spiel des Jahres doesn't usually nominate those kind of games.
Exactly, and also it's a very experimental game. So we didn't know how it would be received from people and also from critics. Fortunately, everybody likes it. So we were lucky. We were surprised by that nomination, but we were maybe even more surprised in a way by the nomination of the game that actually won. The Crew. Because you see, small box. It's a kind of an easy-ish game, at least for Italian people, because the mechanics are very similar to a traditional card game.
I mean, for Kennerspiel, it's a simple game, right?
Not for Spiel in general, but for Kennerspiel, it was kind of surprising. So we don't know. But if I had to place a bet right now, I would say that Evergreen is more Spiel than Kennerspiel, because it's, as I was saying, it's not that complicated. It's the one of those typical gateway games that we tend to do, easy enough to be able to be introduced to people new to games, but also deep enough for seasoned gamers to find something interesting in them.
Exactly.
So if I had to say, I would say Spiel, not Kenner.
How transformative for a company like Horrible Guild would a Spiel des Jahres win be?
It would be huge. Even being nominated with King's Dilemma was huge because it was the first big international recognition aside from the appreciation of fans and kind words of many people, including other publishers. So we are very happy about that. But it was I think the highest level achievement we had as a company. So that alone was already, I mean, a lot of people started to take us more seriously because of that. Winning one would have a huge impact also, I think, in terms of sales.
Just basic sales. I mean, Spiel des Jahres increases your sales by a lot, right?
Yes. I mean, not tenfold probably, but it's not that far to that. It's a huge, especially for the German market.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And is this why? Because I'm looking over your shoulder and the German version of Evergreen is behind you. Is that why you make sure that you get a German version? Because if you don't have a German version, you can't be nominated.
It's one of the reasons why, but also one big reason is that we tend to release our new games, many of our new games in Essen.
Yep.
And also for selling good in Essen, it's best to have the German version already available.
You want the option, right?
Yes.
For players.
Especially German people, if the option is there, they prefer it.
Sure.
So since we have a strong relationship with Heidelberger, and we have also a lot of friends in the industry that can help us with the translation. We have a few translators that work with us on a regular basis. It's not that complicated for us to make a German version. And the advantages are so big compared to how low effort for us it is. That's why we always try to do that. But yes, being the chance to be nominated or this considered from the jury of the Spiel des Jahres is enough to make the extra mile.
Exactly. And so, how optimistic are you for the upcoming year with Horrible?
I mean, it's a difficult. The future is not bright in general.
Right.
For the world and for the industry.
It's a very weird time, right?
We were just starting to recover from the pandemic. And then someone somewhere made this decision that a war was what the world
Absolutely
needed.
Fucking insane, yeah.
Yeah, don't get me started on that. So with the logistics issues increasing after the pandemic, now the price of a lot of basic resources going up and up and up and up. Everything is getting more expensive. It's more expensive for us to produce games. It's more expensive to ship them where they need to be. It's more expensive for people to live. So they have less money to buy what is essentially a luxury. So games. So we don't know. But on our hand, what we can do is just to keep doing what we're doing. We are very confident in what we're doing. For now, we are seeing a lot of critical praise and success and sales and praise from the players. So I want to be optimistic, and I don't see many big problems for us in the near future. But we also have many friends in the industry, in Italy, especially that we know are in bigger trouble than we are.
Yeah.
And things are starting to get worrying in a way. So we start to make some decisions. Maybe we need to save some resources now in case things get even worse.
Exactly.
So we are optimistic, I want to think, but we have also to be more cautious. Cautious. Okay. We have to be more cautious than usual with how we spend our energies and resources, because we don't know if things will get even worse than they are now.
Brilliant. Well, on that slightly doom-laden note...
Yeah, sorry about that.
Alessandro from Horrible Guild, thank you very much for your time.
Thanks for the chat. It's always a pleasure.
And the wine is great.
Thank you.
So it's Essen. It's day 2. I'm slightly tipsy. I've had some wine. I've got whiskey. And I'm here with German Milan, who is the designer of Bitoku, and his official translator, all the way from Andalusia, by way of Lisbon. That's Ricardo from Devere. So first question is, German, how did you come up with the idea for Bitoku?
Ok, Ben se introdució, se dice que vienes de Andalucía y que la traducción se va a pasar por Lisboa, Portugal, porque es hecha por Ricardo. La cuestión es, ¿cómo te ha nacido la idea para crear un juego como Bitoku?
Yo soy un amante de Estudio Ghibli. Princesa Mononoke, Viaje de Chihiro, todas las películas de Miyazaki. Yo pensé...
Que es un amante que he likes a lot the Ghibli pictures, the movies. So Princess Mononoke, the Walking Castle, he loves it a lot. So the idea came from over there.
Claro, yo pensaba que, y también me gustan los Eurogames mucho, yo pensaba que tenía que existir un juego que juntase Ghibli con Eurogame.
Como le gusta mucho los... sorry.
It's all right.
As he loves so much the Euro games, he would like to have an Euro game that mixes both the Euro game style with the Studio Ghibli and the Japanese culture links. So he mixed those two and you got Bitoku.
So, what was the process for getting Bitoku published?
¿Cómo se fue para desarrollar y tener Bitoku publicado por un editorial? ¿Qué pasos lo has dado?
Vale, lo que sucedió es que David Esbrí me escribió a mí porque se enteró de un juego que Sabica, que está hoy ahí en Ludonova, y se enteró y él estaba interesado, pero yo no le podía enseñar Sabica porque estaba comprometido con una editorial. Okay. Entonces yo le dije, ok, tengo otra idea que era esta, déjame que la piense y te la enseño.
It starts a little far from Bitoku. It starts with his other game that is now released here in the fair, Sabica. So our publisher, David Esbrí, the publisher of Devere, found that game and has got in touch with German related to that game. At that moment, German said, oh, this one is already with an editor of another publishing house, but I have another idea that might be suitable for you. And then it starts Bitoku.
So how surprised are you that Bitoku has been so successful?
¿De cuánto estás sorprendido con el suceso de Bitoku?
Oh, wow. Estoy sorprendido con todo. Yo creo que David Esbrí, nadie esperaba todo este triunfo de Bitoku. Nadie lo esperaba, ni yo ni David Esbrí. Entonces, lo único que puedo decir es que es increíble e indescriptible.
He says that it's extremely surprising the success achieved by Bitoku, because not only he wasn't expecting, but also the editor wasn't expecting so much success as it achieved.
So, Bitoku is really beautiful. How cool was it when you first got the game out of the box and saw the thing in total?
Que lo dices que es muy guapo el juego, buenísimo, bellísimo, y que ¿cómo te sorprendiste tú cuando abriste por la primera vez una caja de Bitoku y lo viste? ¿Cuál la comparación en ese momento y lo que habías pensado?
Bueno, vi las ilustraciones de Edu Valls mientras la iba haciendo. Entonces, cuando me enseñaron el tablero, la ilustración, fue un shock. Fue increíble. Mucha gente cree que Bitoku o piensa que es abrumador. Es verdad, pero la temática ahí predomina. Es un gran bosque lleno de vida, lleno de espíritus. Entonces, para mí era perfecto.
It wasn't so surprising because he was following the artwork of Edu Valls while he was illustrating the game. But he says when he looks at the board and he finds the woods that it really represents, some people think about other things, but it is the woods, and he gets astonishing every time he looks at it.
My last question is, why is My Neighbor Totoro the best Ghibli movie?
Que lo pregunta, ¿por qué Totoro es la mejor película de Ghibli?
que él me pregunta si...
Sí. ¿Por qué? ¿Por qué es?
Que para mí Totoro.
Sí.
O sea, a mí la que más me gusta es la princesa Mononoke.
Okay. He said, you ask about Totoro, but his favorite is Princess Mononoke. That's the one that inspired the movie. So it was a joke.
It's my second favorite.
Okay.
Number 1, Totoro. Number 2, Princess Mononoke. So, Jaman, thank you very much for your time.
Gracias a vosotros.
He just thanks for you.